Marriage is your ministry. How to worship God by loving your spouse. Have you ever wondered what your true ministry in life might be? We often think ministry is only about pastoring a church, going on mission trips, or leading Bible studies. And while those are beautiful callings, there's one ministry many people overlook: your marriage. Your marriage is your ministry. It is one of the most powerful and personal ways you can worship God every single day. When we think about worship, we usually picture Sunday mornings at church, singing songs, hearing a sermon, lifting our hands. But what if worship wasn't just something you did at church? What if it was something you lived every day through how you love your spouse? The Bible tells us in Ephesians 5:25, "Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her." This is not just advice. It's a calling, a mission, a ministry. Marriage is a sacred opportunity to show the world what God's love looks like: patient, kind, forgiving, and selfless. When you love your spouse intentionally, faithfully, and sacrificially, you are ministering not only to them, but also to everyone who sees your marriage. Your marriage becomes a living testimony. It becomes proof that God is real, that love rooted in Him is possible, and that grace can transform two imperfect people into a powerful reflection of Christ's relationship with the church. Now, if you think about it, ministry isn't always easy. It requires dedication. It requires selflessness. It requires a heart that says, "Not my will, but yours, God." And the same is true in marriage. Worshiping God through marriage begins when you stop asking, "How can my spouse make me happy?" and start asking, "How can I honor God by the way I love my spouse today?" That simple shift changes everything. It transforms marriage from something centered around personal needs into something centered around God's glory. So how do you actually live this out? How do you make your marriage a ministry, a true act of worship to God? It starts with intentional love. Love is not just an emotion, it's an action, a daily decision. Just as Jesus intentionally loves and serves us, you are called to intentionally love and serve your spouse. Every time you choose kindness over frustration, forgiveness over bitterness, or patience over anger, you are offering up worship to God. Every time you meet your spouse's needs without keeping score, you are living your ministry. Every time you pray for your spouse, encourage them, or serve them when it's inconvenient for you, you are worshiping God through your marriage. And that's the heart of ministry, service rooted in love. When you look at your marriage this way, even the small, everyday moments become sacred. Helping with chores without being asked, listening deeply when your spouse has had a hard day, praying quietly over them while they sleep. None of it is wasted. Every loving action becomes an offering laid before the throne of God. Now, I know real life isn't always easy. There are disagreements. There are misunderstandings. There are days when loving feels hard. But that's when worship matters most. True worship isn't only singing when life is good. It's choosing to serve and love when it's challenging. It's laying down your pride, your desires, your impatience, and choosing to love anyway, because God first loved you. That's the moment when your marriage becomes powerful spiritual ground. That's the moment your love becomes more than emotional. It becomes supernatural, empowered by the Holy Spirit. When you start treating your marriage as a ministry, something else incredible happens. You begin building a legacy. A marriage centered on worship doesn't just bless the two of you, it blesses generations. Your children, your grandchildren, your friends, your church, they all witness something different in your relationship. They see a marriage where forgiveness is normal, where patience is practiced, where joy overflows even when circumstances are tough. And through your marriage, they see a living example of Christ's love. One of the most powerful ways to witness to a hurting world is through a strong, God-centered marriage. In a time when marriages are falling apart and self-centered love is celebrated, a marriage rooted in worship stands out. It draws people in. It points people to something greater than ourselves. It points them to God. This is why your marriage matters so much. This is why God calls it holy. Because it's not just about you and your spouse, it's about glorifying Him. Colossians 3:23 reminds us, "Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters." This includes how you love your spouse. Your marriage work is kingdom work. So how do you live this out practically? How do you, starting today, make your marriage a daily ministry of worship? Let me give you some powerful, simple steps. First, start every day with prayer. Before the chaos of the day begins, pray for your marriage. Ask God to help you love selflessly. Pray for strength, patience, and a heart that sees your spouse through His eyes. Invite the Holy Spirit to guide your words, your actions, and your thoughts about your spouse. Second, speak life over your spouse. Proverbs 18:21 says, "The tongue has the power of life and death." Use your words to bless, to encourage, to build up. Speak prayers, compliments, and gratitude over your spouse every day. Third, serve with no strings attached. Ministry isn't about getting something back. It's about giving out of love. Serve your spouse in ways that cost you something. Your time, your pride, your comfort. Do it as a gift to God, not to earn favor or recognition. Fourth, handle conflict with worship in mind. When disagreements arise, remind yourself, this marriage is not about winning, it's about worshiping God. Choose humility over pride. Choose reconciliation over resentment. Let every conflict become an opportunity to reflect Christ's forgiveness. Fifth, celebrate small moments of love as worship. Laugh together. Hold hands. Make each other coffee. Leave notes of encouragement. These small moments, when done with love and intention, are powerful acts of worship. You don't have to be perfect to worship God through your marriage. You simply have to be intentional. Every time you choose your spouse with love, you are choosing God. Every time you protect your marriage from bitterness, selfishness, or division, you are guarding something holy. Your marriage is not a side project in your spiritual life. It is your first, and for many, your most important ministry. When you see marriage through that lens, your whole life changes. You start realizing that every choice you make, every sacrifice, every gentle word, every act of patience, is not only a gift to your spouse, but an offering to God. You worship Him by the way you love. You glorify Him by the way you serve. You magnify Him by the way you forgive. That's what it means to make your marriage your ministry. And here's the beautiful part. When you give your marriage to God as an act of worship, He blesses it beyond anything you could create on your own. He strengthens your bond. He fills your home with peace. He makes your love resilient and joyful, a shining light in a world desperate for real love. If you want a marriage that grows deeper every year, if you want to leave a legacy of love and faith, if you want to experience the presence of God in a new, powerful way, start today. Worship God by loving your spouse intentionally, sacrificially, and joyfully. Make your marriage your ministry, and watch what God will do through you. Thank you for spending these moments with me. If this message encouraged you, share it with someone who needs hope in their marriage. And remember, your marriage can become one of the most powerful acts of worship you will ever offer to God.